Before we begin, I'd like to invite everyone to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest content. Now, let's get started. Fact 1. A meteor as strong as 10 atomic bombs exploded over Earth and everyone missed it. In 2018, a meteor 10 meters in diameter exploded over the Bering Sea. The massive space rock had a mass of 1,400 tons and an impact energy of 173 kilotons of TNT, which was about 10 times the atomic bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima in 1945. Fact 2. Dogs like squeaking toys because it sounds like their prey. Dogs are known to have a fixation on squeaky toys. Although dogs have been domesticated by man, they still retain some of their animal instincts, which is why squeaky toys stimulate them. Squeaky toys almost sound like small prey screaming for their life. Now that's one of the WTF facts you could have lived without ever knowing. Fact 3. If the sun exploded, you wouldn't know until 8 minutes later. Light from the sun reaches the Earth at 8 minutes and 18 seconds. This is the same amount of time it'll take for us to see any changes in the sun. Fact 4. Ferrets will die after a year of no sex. No Nut November. Who? Female ferrets mature sexually at 4 to 6 months of age. When they go into heat, they stay that way until they breed. However, prolonged estrogen increase may lead to aplastic anemia, which can lead to death. Fact 5. The longest hiccups lasted nearly 69 years. When Charles Osborne started hiccuping in 1922, he didn't stop until 1990. Charles Osborne hiccuped nonstop for 68 years. He wasn't even doing anything to trigger his decades-long hiccup. It just started while he was weighing a hog before slaughter. Initially, he hiccuped 40 times a minute. However, in his later years, it slowed to 20 hiccups per minute. After his long hiccuping episode, he managed to live a hiccup-less life for only a year until his death in 1991. Definitely one of the more unfortunate WTF facts. Fact 6. You swallow about 365 cups of mucus in a year. That makes over 22 gallons of mucus a year. Fact 7. You sweat an average of 26 gallons on your bed per year. This means that an average person sweats 1 cup of perspiration on his bed per day. How's that for WTF facts? Fact 8. A cloud can weigh more than 1,000,000 pounds. If you've ever pictured yourself lying in the clouds, keep this in mind. The average weight of a cumulus cloud is 1.1 million pounds, or almost 500,000 kilograms. They don't seem as light and fluffy now, do they? Fact 9. Shadows are darker on the moon. On Earth, our shadows aren't too dark because of the sunlight in the atmosphere. However, this isn't the case with the moon. The moon has no atmosphere, and thus, no place for sunlight to travel. It's so dark on the moon that Neil Armstrong said he couldn't see where he was going. Fact 10. Human meat is rich in protein. However, early cannibalism was not really practiced because of diet or starvation. Historical instances of human meat consumption were mainly symbolic or religious gestures. Fact 11. A duel of 3 people is called a truel. The truel originates from old 90s action movies and fiction. Fact 12. Beer was a soft drink in Russia. Before 2011, any drink in Russia with less than 10% alcohol content was legally classified as a soft drink. Fact 13. Blood donors in Sweden get texts when their blood is used. In order to promote blood donation, the Swedish government implemented a text service for donors in 2015. The people who donate would initially receive a thank you text after giving their blood. However, they would also get another message when their blood is transfused into someone else. Fact 14. Before bloopers was coined, there were boners. Commonly shown at the end credits of any show or film, Bloopers are the outtakes of scenes with errors or funny mistakes. However, it didn't always have such a tame name. In the 1950s, people referred to outtakes as boners, boneheaded mistakes, or breakdowns. Fact 15. The small holes under frozen pizzas prevent air bubbles from forming in the dough. The holes prevent the dough from being soggy or limp. Fact 16. Bluetooth was named after a king. Bluetooth technology was named after King Harold Bluetooth Gormson. The traditional explanation for his moniker is that Harold had a bad tooth that looked blue. In the 10th century, Bluetooth united Denmark and Norway, much like how wireless Bluetooth now joins different devices. Fact 17. Viagra can make flowers stay erect, too. If you dissolve Viagra in water, it can make flowers stay alive for a week longer than usual. Fact 18. Dogs are banned from Antarctica. In 1994, Antarctica banned all non-native species, except humans, from the continent. This was in order to prevent diseases from spreading to seals. Fact 19. In Slovakia, they have a Christmas carp that lives in the family bathtub for a few days before they are eaten. A traditional Slovakian Christmas dinner is a main dish of breaded carp with sides of cabbage and sausage soup, and potato salad. However, the WTF facts twist is that the carp has to live in the family bathtub before it is cooked. Fact 20. Iguanas have 3 eyes. Iguanas have 2 normal eyes and a third eye on their head that only detects brightness. Fact 21. Babe Ruth wore a cabbage leaf in his cap to keep it cool. Babe Ruth's unusual way of keeping cool during games is definitely one for WTF facts. He would take leaves off a head of cabbage and put them in a cooler. From there, he would take one and put it under his cap every 2 innings. Fact 22. About 100 people choke on pens each year in the U.S. Roughly 100 people choke on pen caps per year in America, which is why BIC adopted their iconic hold caps. The hole not only serves a design feature, but it makes sure that a person can breathe even if they ingest it. Fact 23. Nutmeg can be poisonous. Who doesn't love a little nutmeg in their hot choc? It may seem unlikely, but in certain amounts, nutmeg can be fatal to humans. Compared to other plants and herbs, nutmeg contains higher amounts of a narcotic substance called myristicin. Consuming more than 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg at once can cause side effects such as wild hallucinations, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, and a syncopated heartbeat. In large amounts, it can also lead to organ failure. Fact 24. Our eyes remain the same size from birth. However, our noses and ears never stop growing. Fact 25. The least successful Harry Potter film made less than the most successful Twilight movie. Prisoner of Azkaban is the lowest-grossing Harry Potter film at $796,688,549 worldwide. As the third film in the Harry Potter film series, Prisoner of Azkaban was outsold by Twilight, Breaking Dawn, Part 2 by over $30,000. Fact 26. Singapore has a 15-story car vending machine. Inspired by die-cast toy cars, Autobahn Motors unveiled a building that dispenses luxury cars in 2017. The building is located in Bukit Merah and can hold up to 60 luxury cars inside. Fact 27. The tallest Lego tower of all time is 112 feet high. On August 20th, 2013, a group of students from Delaware, USA built the tallest Lego tower in the world. The tower stood at 112 feet tall and was built using over 500,000 pieces of Lego. Fact 28. Oranges were originally green. The first oranges imported to the West were from Southeast Asia. These oranges were tangerine pomelo hybrids that were green. Fact 29. Pigs can't look up. You can't tell a pig that's sad to look up. They physically can't do that. Since their bodies evolved to prioritize finding food, pig necks can't bend to let them look up at the sky. Fact 30. The British Queen's handbag is a communication device. The Queen uses her bag to relay secret and silent messages to her staff. Fact 31. You can see 2 sunsets from the Burj Khalifa in one day. Standing at 2,731 feet tall, the Burj Khalifa is the tallest building in the world. In fact, it is so tall that you can see 2 sunsets from it, one at the bottom and one at the peak. Fact 32. Antarctica is the largest desert in the world. If you think desert, you'd probably think of the Sahara. By definition, a desert is any dry land with little vegetation and rain. However, the biggest desert is actually Antarctica. The Antarctic Polar Desert is a cold desert that covers the entire continent and covers roughly 5.5 million square miles. Fact 33. Mammoths were still alive when the Egyptians were building the Great Pyramids. Woolly mammoths were alive until 2550 to 2490 BC. Fact 34. Ants can't die from falling. Because of their body proportions and tough exoskeleton, an ant's terminal velocity isn't enough to kill or hurt it on impact. They can survive being dropped from the Empire State Building and walk away unharmed. Fact 35. You're 10 times more likely to get bitten by a person than a shark. In New York City, the annual number of human bites is 10 times higher than the yearly number of shark bites worldwide. Fact 36. Fried chicken came from Scotland. In the Middle Ages, it was a Scottish tradition to deep fry chicken. While immigrating to the southern United States, the Scots brought the dish over. From there, it became a staple for American cuisine. Fact 37. 10 gallons of carrot juice can kill a person. The vitamin A content of that much carrot juice is high enough to make your brain swell and cause other complications leading to death. Fact 38. A house fire inspired The Sims. Will White was inspired to create The Sims after suffering a house fire in 1991, where he lost everything. When he had a vision of rebuilding his house, he thought of a game concept where one could create a virtual dollhouse. From there, The Sims was born. Talk about WTF facts with a plot twist. Fact 39. Woodpeckers would eat brains if they get too hungry. Definitely one of the darker WTF facts. If a woodpecker goes too long without food, they will pin down other birds and peck at their heads until they can eat their brains. Fact 40. A volcanic eruption once killed 80% of the Earth's sheep. When the Loki volcanic fissure in southern Iceland erupted for 8 months in 1783, it killed off 80% of the sheep in the world. Additionally, roughly 25% of the world's human population died. These jaw-dropping facts will surprise you, shock you, and make you realize just how strange life really is. And trust me, the last fact will blow your mind. Fact 1. A Coca-Cola employee offered to sell Coca-Cola's secrets to Pepsi. Snitches get stitches, yet it seems this Coca-Cola employee forgot when they tried to betray Coca-Cola. In 2006, a secretary at Coca-Cola HQ was arrested for stealing a sample of an unreleased product and attempting to sell it for $1.5 million to Pepsi. However, the two soda companies instead got the FBI involved. In the end, the thief was arrested. Fact 2. Cats don't meow at other cats. Aside from kittens meowing at their mothers, cats only meow at people and other animals. Fact 3. A fortune cookie once predicted the lottery, and 110 people won. In 2005, a shocking 110 people won second place for a Powerball drawing, with each one describing a fortune cookie for their lucky digits. Usually, only 4 or 5 people win second place. However, upon investigation, no foul play was involved. Fact 4. Sloths can hold their breath longer than dolphins. Sloths can slow their heart rates. When they do, sloths can hold their breath for up to 40 minutes. On the other hand, dolphins need to come up to the surface to breathe after 10 minutes. Fact 5. The Empire State Building has a zip code of its own. The Empire State Building's zip code is 10118. Fact 6. The shortest war in history lasted less than an hour. When the Sultan of Zanzibar died and a new one took over without British approval in 1896, the Brits saw it as disrespect. When the unofficially appointed Sultan Khalid bin Barghash refused to step down, British warships spent 38 minutes bombing the palace before Khalid fled. This marked the end of the Anglo-Zanzibar War. Fact 7. The Eiffel Tower was supposed to be in Barcelona. The Eiffel Tower may be an iconic tourist spot for lovers and travelers alike, but it wasn't so loved in its first years. When Gustave Eiffel pitched it to Barcelona, the officials thought the design looked too ugly, so Eiffel pitched it to Paris instead. Fact 8. PEZ candy was made to help smokers quit. The Austrian creator of PEZ named the candy after the German word for peppermint, Pfefferminz. They were first introduced in 1927 to curb smokers' cravings. Fact 9. The longest TV ad of all time is 14 hours long. Created for a product that supposedly lasts forever, this Old Spice commercial features actor Terry Crews and is airing for an eternity online. Since TV airtime is particularly expensive, a 14-hour version was aired in Brazil on December 8, 2018, and earned the Guinness World Record for the longest TV ad ever. Fact 10. Bananas glow blue under UV light. Bananas may be associated with yellow, but according to one study, the fruit actually glows an intense blue color under black light, or UV lights. Scientists later found that the degradation of chlorophyll as the fruit ripens causes the blue glow. Fact 11. Handshakes were originally a safety measure. In 5th century Greece, handshakes were done to make sure that the other person wasn't carrying a hidden weapon. The hand clasp proved that your hand was empty, and shaking it was meant to shake out weapons hiding in the sleeve. One of the WTF facts you probably won't stop thinking of. Fact 12. An actor's brain activity is different when in character. Some actors are so good, you forget that they're acting. However, the actors themselves seem to forget that too. During a study, researchers scanned performers' brains while the actors answered questions either as themselves or in character. According to the results, the brain activity of participants differed between answering as themselves or as a character, almost as if the character is possessing the actor. Fact 13. The longest time between two twins being born is 87 days. A mother in Ireland gave birth to twins Amy and Kate Marie Elliott 87 days apart, the world record for the longest interval between twin births. Amy was born prematurely on June 1, 2012, and Kate only followed on August 27. The exact interval is 87 days, 1 hour, and 45 minutes. Fact 14. There's an apartment inside the Eiffel Tower. When Gustave Eiffel designed the tower, he added a hidden apartment on the 3rd level, but he never lived there, nor did anybody. Instead, Eiffel used this space to entertain guests such as Thomas Edison. Though it wasn't big, the apartment was decorated with wallpaper, furnished with wooden cabinets, and even had a grand piano. Nowadays, you can get a peek at the unique space through a window if you ride up the tower. Fact 15. Marsupials have 3 vaginas. Marsupials such as koalas, wombats, and Tasmanian devils all have 3 vaginas. The vaginas on the sides carry sperm to the 2 uteruses, since male marsupials have 2-pronged penises. Finally, the middle vagina births their offspring. Fact 16. Tug of war, live pigeon shooting, and pistol dueling used to be in the Olympics. In the early 1900s, tug of war, pigeon shooting, and pistol dueling were Olympics. However, by 1920, all of these events were excluded. Tug of war was no longer considered athletics, and the animal rights movement had live pigeon shooting banned. Fact 17. The largest margarine sculpture weighs more than 3,000 pounds. The largest margarine sculpture depicting the Trimordia of Elephanta weighs a whopping 1,506.800 kilograms. Devrat Anand Jagyankar finished the sculpture on February 23, 2017. It stood at 8 feet 2 inches long, 3 feet 8 wide, and 6 feet 1 tall. Fact 18. The tallest dog ever was a 7-foot Great Dane. Zeus holds the record for the tallest dog in the world at 7 foot tall. He was an unusually large Great Dane from Otsego, Michigan, who took home the record in October 2011. Fact 19. Spider webs were used as bandages in ancient times. In ancient Greece and Rome, doctors used spider webs as bandages for their patients. Supposedly, spider webs have natural antiseptic and antifungal properties, which helps with cleaning and preventing infection. It was also said that spider webs are rich in vitamin K, which helps clot blood and close wounds. Fact 20. There's a cheese eaten with live maggots. If you're one for exotic eats, the casu marzu is a Sardinian cheese that has a special ingredient, live maggots. These maggots can jump up to 5 inches out of the cheese while you're eating it, so it's advised to shield it with your hands so they won't get on your face. Fact 21. Silver cars are the least accident-prone. Silver is the most visible on the road, so it's less likely to get into an accident. Fact 22. The first man to pee on the moon was Buzz Aldrin. Shortly after stepping onto the moon's surface, Buzz Aldrin had to take a leak. That's one for WTF facts you never needed to know. Fact 23. A woman who lost her wedding ring found it over a decade later on a carrot in her garden. In 1995, a woman in Sweden lost her wedding ring while cooking for Christmas. One of the more feel-good WTF facts, 16 years later, the woman found the ring around a carrot in her garden. Turns out, the ring was lost in the vegetable peelings that were made into compost. Fact 24. 1/4 of all your bones are in your feet. There are 26 bones and 33 joints in each foot. That makes 52 bones in both feet out of the 206 bones in our whole body, which makes foot bones more than 25% of the body's total bone structure. Fact 25. A 155-year-old mousetrap successfully caught a mouse in 2016. In the mid-1800s, inventor Colin Pullinger revealed his perpetual mousetrap, claiming that it would last a lifetime. Over a century later, his claim was proven true. In 2016, the 155-year-old device was on display at England's Museum of English Rural Life when it caught a mouse that snuck into it. Fact 26. A human could swim through a blue whale's veins. This is one of the WTF facts that'll just make you feel small. Fact 27. The man who created Comic Sans used it once. Universally known as the world's most hated font, Comic Sans was designed by Vincent Conart in 1995. Turns out, even Vincent Conart can't take it seriously and only used it once for a complaint about his broadband service. Fact 28. There is only one Blockbuster store left in the world. Video rental services may be a thing of the past, but there's still one Blockbuster store left standing. This Blockbuster store in Bend, Oregon is now considered an American tourist site. Fact 29. The Dutch village of Geethoorn doesn't have roads. Instead, its buildings are connected entirely by canals and footbridges. Fact 30. There's a high-voltage ejector bed that launches you out of sleep. In 2015, Colin Furze invented a creative alarm that would literally throw you out of bed as an alarm. Fact 31. There's a family of people with blue skin in Kentucky. One of the most bizarre WTF facts: for generations, the Fugates of Kentucky had a condition called methemoglobinemia that turned skin blue. It was a rare genetic condition that was even more triggered by inbreeding. Fact 32. The butterflies in your stomach are a distress call. When you see someone you like and your stomach does weird flips, it is actually a stress response caused by adrenaline levels. Fact 33. The Katzenclavier was a piano made out of cats. No, it wasn't made out of their skin or bones, but it's still one of the most disturbing WTF facts. Designed in the 17th century by Athanasius Kircher, it was a piano that had a row of caged cats with different pitches. This cat piano would then be played with the traditional keyboard that drove nails into their tails instead of into strings. Fact 34. The Romans used to clean their teeth with urine. How's that for an organic toothpaste? Fact 35. The largest pizza measured 13,580.28 square feet. In 2012, a massive pie that had a surface area of 1,261.65 square meters was created in Rome, Italy. The pizza was named Ottavia, in honor of the Octavian Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. Fact 36. There are 60,000 miles of blood vessels in the human body. If you took out all of your blood vessels and laid them end to end, they would stretch over 2 times around the entire world. Fact 37. Cats can be manipulative. When cats need food or affection, they've been shown to exhibit solicitation purring, or more baby-like meows. According to a study, humans perceive this solicitation purring as more urgent than their usual cries. Fact 38. Archaeologists discovered an elixir in an ancient Chinese tomb. In 2019, archaeologists found a 2,000-year-old bronze pot from a Western Han Dynasty. It contained 3.5 liters of a liquid referred to in Taoist literature as an elixir of immortality. Upon studying, the elixir was a mixture of potassium nitrate and alunite. Fact 39. Before alarm clocks, there were human alarms. Knocker-uppers originated in Britain during the Industrial Revolution. When people needed to wake up and get to work, a knocker-upper's job was to take a wooden stick and knock on the door to wake them up. Fact 40. Mice in Central America can sing almost 100 notes. Scotinomys tiguina, or Alston's singing mouse, are native to Central America. They are real-life musically inclined rats.